What's up? This is your boy KC. Raw is 3 fucking hours. You expect us to sit through half of a roster for 3 hours? You know what grinds my gears, man? What the hell? Pokemon. This Pokemon Go app that everybody is into is making people lose their minds, making people stupid. As I said before, I am a big guy, and it's not funny having your ass sucked into a chair like a vacuum. It's that time of the week again. Time for another top 10. Anime otakus, it's that time again. Video game portion of my show. Jarek. This guy is a straight up Kano clone. He has all of Kano's moves. Dragon Ball debunked. People who pretend to be nice. That in front of people, they're smiling it up. Hello, how you doing? Blah, blah, blah. The wrestling match of the week. The game of the week, is it worth it? The anime of the week, is time to talk about some more Dragon Ball Super. Like, comment, and subscribe. What's up? It's your boy KC. How y'all doing? Welcome to episode 27 of my podcast show. Let's get down to it. The wrestling world lost another legend. A legendary manager and wrestler, Mr. Fuji, passed away a couple of days ago at 82 years old. Such a colorful animated character. Just like Captain Lou Albano and Roddy Piper, all those guys back then had personalities. That's what made wrestling so much fun to watch, because these guys were entertaining. And it just sucks that we're losing them one by one. I know that these guys are getting older, and I know that they have all these injuries and surgeries and stuff, and it just sucks. But Mr. Fuji has managed so many guys that we know, from the Moondogs to Demolition, the Powers of Pain, Yokozuna, Owen Hart, Bulldog, the list goes on. And it sucks that he's gone. Rest in peace. In the entertainment world, we lost Gene Wilder, another legend in the business. For those of you who don't know who he is, watch Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory and you would know exactly who he is. He's Willy Wonka. He also played in Young Frankenstein, Bonnie and Clyde, Silver Streak with Richard Pryor, Hear No Evil, See No Evil. The guy is well known. He was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease 3 years ago, and that's what took his life. He died at 83 years old. And again, it just sucks that we're losing all the people that were talented. And this is genuine. I know that you get those people that, like I said before, that you can't stand, that they don't think about anybody until they die. These are people that I actually watched. Mr. Fuji, Gene Wilder, I watched his stuff. So I know. You get what I'm saying? I'm not saying this just because the man died. The guy was a great actor. Mr. Fuji was a great wrestler, and he was a great manager, because I've been watching that guy since I was in diapers. Anyways, I'm pretty sure he's up there filling people with candy. Rest in peace, man. On to the wrestling portion of my show. It looks like WWE is handing out suspensions the way that these people out here are handing out flyers to make people vote for either Trump or Hillary Clinton. You get what I'm saying? Because Paige has been suspended, Alberto Del Rio has been suspended, and Eva Marie has been suspended. Now, we know that a couple of weeks ago was Paige's birthday. They all failed the willingness policy. So it doesn't take much imagination to actually think of what they were doing, partying and doing. I'm sure they was doing some kind of stupid shit, but we'll never know because they'll never tell us. It just says that they failed the willingness policy. And look, right now, Paige is not doing shit. She's not involved in anything. Like I said on last week's show, she is ice cold right now. The last thing she needs is to start failing stuff, because pretty soon they're going to cut the fat. If they have no use for you and you're not doing nothing, you're gone. And Alberto Del Rio is the same way, because Alberto Del Rio, rumor has it, he's not even happy with his position, which I wouldn't be either. I don't think Triple H likes him too much anyways. So we don't even know if he'll be back or not. And once this window of opportunity closes for him again for the second time, he will not be back. I don't think. At least I don't think. And Eva Marie, part of me knows that it's real, that she's been suspended for real. But the other part of me would like to think that it's a work, because they've been doing all this crazy shit to keep this woman out of the ring. The first time she got a knee injury. The second time was a wardrobe malfunction. The third time she was stuck in traffic. Now she's suspended for 30 days. I know that it's real, but I'd like to think, and it would be brilliant on WWE's part if they had this set up as a work. But, you know, it's not like she was really doing anything. She's just generating heat, which is good. You know, but it just sucks that everybody's getting popped for these things. You know, Roman Reigns first, now these three. You know, if your name's not Brock Lesnar, Undertaker, Rock, or, you know, those part-time guys, you guys, I will watch out what you do here, because you guys could be fired for what you're doing. I don't even know how to talk about this next one. You know, I never really was a Vickie Guerrero fan. I mean, I did laugh at a lot of the things that they had her doing. Like, every time the fans would boo her when she got ready to talk, and the whole, "Excuse me!" You know, that whole thing. But, you know, I'm not going to call a woman ugly, because she's not. She's a very pretty woman. She didn't look like those other girls on the roster right now, or back then when she was in wrestling. However, I seen a recent picture of Vickie, and I looked at this woman's body. She looks completely different. And I found myself contradicting myself here. I'm like, I looked at her body. I was like, damn. I was like, this woman got a body. She looked good. And then I look at her face and I'm like, is that Vickie Guerrero? So I'm kind of conflicted with myself. I don't know what to think here. I mean, you guys, I know, fellas, you've been through that before. You've seen that one girl that just looks like somebody pasted her face on a supermodel's body. Not disrespecting her. I'm not saying she's ugly or anything, but you would never think that that body belongs to Vickie Guerrero. And true thumbs up to the hard work that she put into to slim it down and getting her body to look that way. The woman looks good. I mean, seriously. Shit. Summerslam was a very underwhelming show for me. Sasha Banks lost the women's championship to Charlotte because Sasha is injured. And this brings a question to mind. Why put the title on her if you knew she was hurt? You could have saved that win for another big show when she was healthy. It didn't make any sense to put the belt on her and then a couple weeks later take it off of her. That makes no sense. And by the way, Sasha, get better. I know what back pain feels like because I've torn a muscle in my back. So yeah, it's pretty painful. Any kind of back pain, even back cramps hurt. Shit. So feel better, because wrestling is a difficult sport. And you always get those people, wrestling fans, you know exactly who I'm talking about. That one jackass that whenever you start talking about wrestling passionately, you get into it. You got that one person that's like, oh, well, you know all that stuff is fake, right? You know wrestling is fake. I don't know why you like it. Well, thank you for pointing out the obvious, dumbass. I know it's predetermined. You know what else ain't real? TV shows, movies, and video games. But that doesn't stop people from enjoying that, does it? And can you imagine if we had that one annoying asshole in every movie, TV show, or video games that just has to suck the fun out of everything when you're trying to enjoy stuff? Imagine every time if Vin Diesel kicks the crap out of somebody in one of those Fast and Furious movies. Every single time he has an explosion or something like that, he steps off the set and he looks at the fans in the movie theater and says, "Hi, my name is Vin Diesel. I'm just a guy pretending to kick ass. This is not real. This is fake." It ruins your enjoyment in the movies. Can you imagine if somebody from The Walking Dead, after decapitating a zombie with a freaking katana, steps out of character and comes to the scream, "Hi, that really just didn't happen. It's not real." Or if you're playing a kick-ass video game like Metal Gear Solid and you just get done breaking somebody's neck as Snake and he looks at you and says, "I didn't really just do that. I'm just a computer-generated character that's not real." That jump would freaking suck, man. In other words, have a Coke and a smile and shut the hell up. We know it's not real, but we enjoy it. Anyways, the main event that we got was underwhelming. I know I keep using that word, but there's no other way for me to explain it. It was disappointing. Brock knocked out Orton. He got on top of him like he does in UFC to those guys, and he just elbowed the hell out of Orton. And Orton got split open legit, because you seen that big ass dash on his head. That was legit. And he pounded on Orton until he bled. Then the match was stopped. I'm like, come on, really? That's the thing that got me. The only purpose that this serves is making Brock Lesnar more badass than he already is. We know he's a badass. He destroyed everybody that he got into the ring with. He beat Mark Hunt at UFC. We know the guy's a badass. But that's no excuse to give the fans a watered down main event like we got. The hype that was built up in this match over the weeks, you would think that these guys would go out there and just beat the living hell out of each other, and that's not what happened. And that's why I was disappointed by it. WWE, enough with the tie-dye championships. I mean, is dude love making these belts? Seriously, the tie-dye colors, these are some of the ugliest belts I've ever seen in my life. The Universal title looks like a giant fruit roll-up. That's exactly what it looks like. It's an ugly ass belt with a bad name. Universal title? What were they thinking? Anyways, I like the SmackDown Women's Championship belt. That's a good looking belt. I think it looks better than the original Women's Championship with the blue background. It may be the fact because blue is my favorite color. I may be a little biased here, but I think it looks good. I think the SmackDown Tag Team Championships look way better than them giant pennies we got on Raw. That is true. But still, enough with the designs. I don't want every belt to look the same just with different colors. That shit is bland and boring. Titles are supposed to be unique. Remember the big gold World Heavyweight title? That belt stood out from all the other belts because it was a big ass title. Seriously. The NWA title was very slim. It was a small belt. Unique title. The Winged Eagle was a great championship. A great look. And the only belt on the roster that actually looks good is the Intercontinental Championship, because that is how the IC title used to look. That design kicks ass. And I hope they never change that. And the United States Championship is a good looking belt too. I hope they don't change those belts, man. That's the last thing I need to see is a ugly ass belt with red, white, and blue all over the leather and all that. I don't want to see that shit because that is fruity. Anyways, enough ranting for now. On to a positive thing that happened in wrestling. Kevin Owens, KO, is the new Universal Champion. I gotta get used to that name. I'm sorry. I don't like it. Anyways. He's the new champion. And it was a surprise ending, at least it was for me. I don't think anybody could have predicted that. Triple H comes out. He acts like he's going to help Seth Rollins. You know all the history that they've had. He's been with the Authority for over a year. He was their champion for a year when Rollins was the champion before he got hurt. Triple H pedigrees Seth Rollins. Kevin Owens is giving him the classic look. That was just great looking at him. It looked like me when I got my first Super Nintendo for Christmas. When my father bought me that box and I was looking just like Kevin Owens. Like, oh my God, I got a Super Nintendo, yeah! Couldn't believe it. He pinned Seth Rollins and became the new champion. And when I tell you the fans popped for that, boy, they were happy. They were happy. I never seen a Triple H pop like that in years. It's been a long time since Triple H was cheered like that. And when Kevin Owens won, boy, they were happy. And I sure as hell am happy because Kevin Owens is ready. He's been ready. And the guy is awesome. He's got killer promos. He can wrestle his ass off. And Kevin Owens is great. And people don't understand why. I like Kevin Owens. I'm going to tell you exactly why I have a lot of respect for this man. Because Kevin Owens represents those people out there who are always laughed at by others, who are always looked at in a certain light, and people feel that they will never amount to anything, or they'll never reach a certain level because of how they look, because of how they dress. You know what I'm talking about. Kevin Owens is that type of guy that doesn't have a perfect body. He doesn't look like Hulk Hogan, Warrior, John Cena, those guys that had them big ass muscles and stuff. He doesn't look like those guys. He doesn't dress like those guys. He doesn't talk like them. Kevin Owens is something different out there that we need, because we need someone that can relate to the fans like that, because I share that interest with him. My whole life, I spent my whole life being put down, being rejected, being told that I was too lazy to do things, that I was never going to be able to do this, never going to be able to do that. And to watch Kevin Owens and watch everything that he's done, and now that he's the champion, proves that you can do anything that you put your mind to. And that sounds cheesy, but it is true. We've all heard it from our parents, but it is true. Kevin Owens represents those people who bust their ass and they make it to the top from hard work, not because how they look or what they can do for people, from actual hard work. And that's why I have respect for this guy, and I'm happy that he's the champion, and he'll be a great champion. The match of the week is another match that is one of my favorites, period. Like, if I had a top 10 list of wrestling matches, which is coming, it's on its way, this match would definitely be on it. It might even be in the top 5, who knows. Another classic match from the WrestleMania line. WrestleMania 21, Shawn Michaels versus Kurt Angle. We were right in the middle of the first brand split. Kurt Angle was a SmackDown guy. Shawn Michaels was a Raw guy. And you saw a lot of surprises from Shawn Michaels in this match, because Shawn Michaels has always been a flashy, high-flying, death-defying type wrestler. He always did moves that wowed people. But this was a different Shawn Michaels, as he was more mat-based. He did more mat wrestling to the point to where he was out-wrestling Kurt Angle, which is something that is difficult to do. At one point, Kurt Angle got so frustrated, he finally got a chance to get Shawn Michaels. He picked him up for the Angle Slam and whammed him into the ring post, and that's what turned the match around. And at one point, Shawn Michaels did a cross-body block, and I swear that Shawn Michaels' knee caught Kurt Angle right in the face. I saw it. His knee hit Kurt right in the jaw. I don't know if that's what caused the bleeding in his mouth, or was it a blood packet or something, but it looked legit to me. And at one point in the match, Shawn Michaels did a picture-perfect moonsault on the Kurt Angle on the announce table. And it looked like it hurt more that the table didn't give than what it would have if the table did break. It was picture-perfect. Kurt Angle just kept trying. He made many attempts to put Shawn Michaels in an ankle lock, and he got him a couple of times, but Shawn Michaels kept getting out of it. At one point, Shawn Michaels went for the sweet chin music, and Kurt Angle got him in the ankle lock, and it looked like he had him. But Shawn got to the ropes. He even did an angle slam off the top rope, and Shawn Michaels kicked out of that. So the story of this match was, could Kurt Angle put away Shawn Michaels? He tried everything he possibly could, and Shawn kept getting out and kicking out. And this is a classic JR call. This is what I loved about JR back then. Kurt Angle gets Shawn Michaels up, and he's got him by the hair, and he's screaming at him, yelling at him, tap, or whatever it is he was saying to him. Shawn Michaels hit Kurt Angle with the sweet chin music, and JR says, Kurt Angle took too long, he talked too much, and he got a foot in his mouth. Oh man, that was great. That was great. I love it. I miss JR on commentary, man, because this guy was so great. He was on point with everything, man. He's not bland and boring like JBL is. And you know how the classic matches go. Shawn Michaels takes his time crawling over to Kurt Angle. He gets an arm across him. Kurt Angle kicks out. This is what they should have did at WrestleMania 19 between Booker T and Triple H, but that didn't happen. That's another story for another day. When Shawn Michaels gets up, Kurt Angle just gets up, gets him in the ankle lock. And there's nowhere for Shawn Michaels to go. Once Kurt Angle wraps them legs around your leg and he's pulling on that ankle and twisting it and turning it, there was no place for Shawn Michaels to go. He had no choice but to tap out and Kurt Angle was the winner of this match. This was a classic match and it still holds up today. Anybody who is not a wrestling fan, go and watch this match. It will turn you into a wrestling fan. I guarantee it. This is how you put on a show. This is how you put on a clinic and give the people their money's worth. Shawn Michaels is quite possibly the greatest professional wrestler of all time. Because this guy could do everything. He could do high-flying moves. He could brawl. He could have hardcore matches. And he could do technical wrestling too. And even though Macho Man Randy Savage is my favorite wrestler of all time, I gotta give credit where credit is due. Shawn Michaels is fucking awesome. I've never seen a wrestler of his caliber ever be able to do the things that he's been able to do in the ring. And to be able, because you don't really hear a lot of bad Shawn Michaels matches. I don't think you ever seen one. This guy was great since day one, just like Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle is another one. Kurt Angle, since he came in, he got it. And I've never seen a guy transition from something else into professional wrestling and do such a great job, man. How this guy is not in the Hall of Fame in WWE, I don't know why, because this guy is one of the greatest wrestlers they've ever had. I love this match, man. 2 thumbs up. This is a 5-star match. Check it out. Shawn Michaels versus Kurt Angle at WrestleMania 21. You'll thank me for it. On to the video game portion of my show. So naturally, since I talked about the PS4 Neo in the last show, I'm going to talk about the Xbox One S. This is a smaller version of the current Xbox One. It's 40% smaller at that. It has 4K resolution. They changed up the power supply. They put physical buttons, a power button and an eject button on the system. And I really like that because I never cared for the digital buttons. That shit's really annoying when they're trying to get a game out the damn console. They have the 500 gigs version, the 1 terabyte version, and a 2 terabyte version. They already released those systems this month, and I looked at it. It really does look good with all white. And I'm not an Xbox fan. I'm not one of those fanboys that cling to one system. I enjoy video games for what they're worth. I'm not bashing the Xbox. I just never had a reason to buy it. I was always a Sony kid. You know, just like when I was a kid, I was a Nintendo fan. I didn't have a Sega Genesis. It didn't mean that I didn't like Sega. I just never wanted one. You know what I'm saying? But the price is hard to beat because they knocked the price down on the Xbox Ones. And I'm like, yo, I could go pick up one of those because the PS4 is still too expensive. No disrespect to it. I love the PS4 and its capabilities, but I'm not going to shell out $400 for a system. That just ain't going to happen. So yeah, pick up the new Xbox One when you get the chance. Is it worth it? This game called Kingdom of Alamar Reckoning. It's an open world RPG where you get to create your own character. You get to upgrade their armor, give them different types of weapons, and have magical spells. We've all heard this before, but damn, if it isn't fun. I love games like those. It reminds me of Skyrim, Tokiden, and Dragon's Dogma. The story starts off with you being dead. Somehow you're revived by some kind of spell, and you set out to find the truth behind your own death. So not much to the plot. I like this game a lot. It's very beautiful to look at. The cutscenes and the visuals are very nice, very colorful. This game is made by EA. I do have a few knocks on it though. Sometimes the battles feel a little repetitive because you keep running into the same enemies more or less. But other than that, the game is extremely fun to play. It's cool to level up your character. It's always cool to do that, isn't it? To become the strongest person alive in the game. So if I was you, I'd give it a try. 2 thumbs up. Metroid Other M had potential. This was a game that came out back in 2009 and was the last game to feature Samus Aran, because this game actually put the series on hold. Nintendo hasn't done shit with this series since that game. There are positives about this game. They gave Samus a personality, they gave her a backstory, and the visuals in this game is very amazing. I like the cutscenes and the artwork is great. Also, it was nice to see the powers that we all know used with new graphics. Now, what made this game unplayable for me is that it was on the Wii. The controls for this game are so broken that it's not even funny. I remember having to shoot missiles. You have to go into first person view. And you have the Wii remote. You know, the one with the sensor? You gotta point it at the stupid black bar on top of your TV. It made it unplayable for me. I could barely do anything. Switching between a side-scrolling platforming type game to a first-person shooter, it didn't work. It didn't know what it was trying to be. It was like a cross between Fusion and the Prime series, and it just didn't work because I'm like, okay, I'm running along. All of a sudden, I see this big giant monster. I have to switch to my missiles. So now I got to aim the control at the bar and figure out how the hell to switch to first person. And that shit was getting on my damn nerves. I really didn't like it. I gave up on the game because I'm like, yo, this game is unplayable like this. Having a switch like that. I never liked the Wii anyways. I never liked the controls for it. It just fucked it up for me and I didn't want to play it. That's why I never had one. I like the traditional controller where you could just tap a button to switch to whatever you need to do and that's it. I don't want to have to aim at the top of my TV to get the game to do what I want it to do. And that's why Other M failed. A lot of people didn't like it. There's another reason why the fans don't like this game. Though they gave Samus a personality and a backstory, it took away the mystique from this character and it made her less badass. Seriously, once she opens her mouth and you find out that she talks about pretty much the same shit that any other ordinary woman would talk about, it really hampers the game. Because she doesn't outright come and say that she's in love with this guy, but that's pretty much what it's all about. That's all she keeps talking about is this dude that we really don't know anything about. The cutscenes were too long in the game, and it was just unbearable to get through. It was cringeworthy watching this woman blab about some guy that we don't even know nothing about. You know, so that's what made the game unplayable for people, and of course it sold poorly. Nobody gave it a chance. And I really wish it did because it had the potential. The graphics look great. If they had just gotten rid of the feature where you have to go into first person view to shoot missiles, if they got rid of that and they cut back on some of the cutscenes and the dialogue, this game would possibly be one of the best Metroid games ever made. But because they added those little things, it fucked it up for everybody. The game of the week is Phantasy Star Portable for the PSP. It was created by Sega and released to the world July 31st, 2008 in Japan, and we got it a little later here in the US. This game is a part of that genre that Freedom Wars is in, Lord of Apocalypse, Tokinen, Monster Hunter, and Ragnarok Odyssey, as you get to create your own character, you get your own weapons, your own armor. You have set missions that you have to complete in order to level up. It's a lot of fun and it takes place in space, which would make Atari jealous. Seriously. And because it's a space game, that means that we have unique weapons such as a big broadsword made of lasers. You have dual swords that are made of lasers, big ass shotguns and rifles, everything that makes your character badass. It doesn't have much of a plot per se. You just complete missions and destroy big monsters. So it's very, very simple, but it's a lot of fun to play. Pick it up. A little bit of news on Hideo Kojima. It looks like he joined the advisory board of VR, a big company that worked on films such as Iron Man, Prometheus, and Godzilla. This company specializes in augmented reality, and that's very interesting. Could this play into his future projects? We'll have to wait and see. Anime otakus, it's that time again. This time I'm going to start with the anime of the week first because I have a whole bunch to talk about when it comes to Dragonball Super. So here we go. The anime of the week is an anime called Basilisk. It ran from April 13, 2005 to September 21st, 2005. It takes place back during the Muromachi period, back in the 1400s. We had a battle between the Iga clan and the Koga clan. And way before Romeo and Juliet, we had this because we had the heir of the Koga, Genosuke-sama. He falls in love with the princess of the Iga clan, Oboro. And of course they have to keep their love a secret because there's a battle going on between each clan. I love animes that borrow from the history of China and Japan, the feudal eras and all that stuff. I love it how they implement it into these animes. The anime is beautifully drawn. It's amazing work. Troy Baker does a great job playing Genosuke Sama. This is where he shines. I love everything about this anime. If I had a top 10 list, which is coming, Basilisk is definitely going to be on that list. This is a great anime. If you love ninja animes like I do, and you love talking about Chinese history and Japanese history, you will love this anime. Check it out. Now, time to talk about Dragonball Super. I have 2 episodes that I have to review because I took a little bit of a break last week. I didn't post anything. I needed time to rest up because I have so much going on. So on to Dragon Ball Super episode 55. For some reason the Omni King wants to meet Goku, but Goku being Goku, he would rather fight Goku Black in Future Trunks' timeline. That's a lot of Gokus I just said right there. Trunks is still training with his father, Vegeta. Zamasu and Gomasu are still examining the barbarians, and Zamasu is still getting angrier and angrier, and his hatred for humans is growing to the point to where he slices open a barbarian who was trying to attack him. So this guy is getting, I'm not going to say evil, but he's getting less and less tolerant of humans. We find out that the Kais and the God of Destructions are connected, that if a Kai dies, so does the God of Destruction. And I thought that was cool to actually show Beerus's weakness other than food. Before Goku goes to see the Omni King, he takes a trip to see Old Kai and Kibido Kai. He takes them along with Beerus and Whis to see the Omni King. Along the way, they meet a blue guy named Daishinkan who appears to be stronger than Whis. In other words, this guy could be possibly the second strongest in the universe. If the Omni King is stronger than everybody else, they're saying that he could destroy worlds and universes with the blink of an eye. Overpowered much? I think so. After Goku meets the Omni King, he, Trunks, and Vegeta go to Trunks' timeline. Trunks finds Mai's hoodie and finds out that she survived the attack from Goku Black. And that's where episode 55 ends, with people shooting at Goku thinking that he's Goku Black. In episode 56, Trunks is reunited with Mai, and he finds out that there are only a few survivors left on the entire planet. This is far worse than the history of Trunks, where we saw the cyborgs destroying everybody. Goku Black dominated the Earth in that timeline. They tried everything they possibly could to stop this guy. All kinds of guns and even rocket launchers did absolutely nothing to this guy. I really liked the scene involving Vegeta. I thought it was really cool that they were showing us that Vegeta is 100% good, because you have 2 little kids in here that are afraid of Goku because they think he's Goku Black. They think he's evil. Vegeta pulls out a capsule and it turns out to be a table full of food which he gives to the children. I thought it was really cool to see Vegeta's character development come around in a full circle as he becomes an all-around good guy, as I talked about before. I really enjoyed it. Trunks runs into a familiar face, Yajirobe, and everybody thought that he was dead, because if you remember the episode Ghost from Tomorrow and Dragon Ball Z, Trunks says that Yajirobe was killed. And Yajirobe explains how he survived. He was given the very last sensu bean by Korin right before Korin died. So he did indeed die. He doesn't exist in that timeline anymore, but he did save Yajirobe's life, and I thought that was a very interesting plot. We get to the best part of the episode as Vegeta sets out to find Goku Black. Vegeta wants to fight him first, but of course Goku wants to fight him too, so they settle it in a good old-fashioned hardcore game of rock, paper, scissors, in which Vegeta wins. He immediately powers up to Super Saiyan Blue, and we find out that Goku Black is much, much stronger than the first time we saw him, overpowering Vegeta in his Super Saiyan Blue form. Vegeta did put up a fight. He got in a couple of blows here and there, but once Goku Black introduces us to the Super Saiyan Rose, or the Super Saiyajin Rosu, Vegeta no longer stood a chance against Goku Black. And I said on the last episode that I really didn't care for pink hair, But after seeing the transformation and how it looked in the anime, because it was beautiful, I changed my mind. It looks really cool on Goku Black. And he makes quick work of Vegeta. He makes his hand into a power blade, the way that Sauza used to do back in the Cooler movie. And he impales Vegeta, stabs him right through the chest. And Vegeta goes down. He doesn't die, but he goes down. Goku finally steps in. He wants to fight him. And out of nowhere, Zamasu comes from the heavens. He comes from the sky. And he said, "You promised that I would be the one to finish Son Goku." So we finally find out that they're not the same person, but they are connected. They are in cahoots. They know each other, and they made some kind of deal. And that's where the cliffhanger ends. That's how the episode ends. This is by far, in my personal opinion, the best episode of Dragon Ball Super that I've seen, because we finally get a villain that is actually giving Goku and Vegeta a hard time. And I like that. It gets kind of annoying when you keep seeing them get these new forms and destroy these enemies within 2 or 3 episodes. So I'm really looking forward to episode 57 to see what goes on there, to see the further interaction between Zamasu and Goku Black, and Goku's reaction. I can't wait. I got to see a few screenshots for the Ghost in the Shell live action movie that's supposed to be coming out March 31st, 2017. With Scarlett Johansson as Major Motoko Kusanagi. I have to be honest with y'all. I have absolutely zero faith in Hollywood whatsoever when it comes to this movie. I don't think it'll be any good. Part of me wants to give it a chance because I love the Ghost in the Shell series. I love everything that has to do with Ghost in the Shell. But Hollywood has a bad track record of freaking messing up some of the coolest franchises you've ever seen. And I don't want to see them do it to Ghost in the Shell, because that's an anime that's in my top 5. It's in my top 5. That's how much I love Section 9. I love the anime stories. And I just don't think Hollywood will do it any good. I think it'll just be a shit stain in the world of anime. But if you are curious, there are photos floating around the internet on what it's supposed to look like. The plot hasn't been explained yet. We just have to see when it comes out. I just hope it'll be good. I hope that they surprise us this time, because I don't want to see a series like this get bad heat because of a shitty movie. And for those subscribers or those comments saying that I'm so negative on this, another reason why I don't have any faith in it is because remember Dragon Ball Evolution? Remember that shitty movie? That's why I have no faith in them. And that's it for episode 27 of my podcast show. If you like what you heard, you can check out my other 26 episodes on my channel, KC The Most. I also have topic videos talking about every subject you could think of, from music to anime, video games, wrestling, sports, and real world problems. I also created a new segment called Dragon Ball Debunked, where I take fan theories and fan opinions, and I give my opinion on if I think it's true with actual evidence from each show. I also have a lot of top 10 lists, anything from my least favorite Dragon Ball characters, my favorite Dragon Ball characters, least favorite Robot Masters from the Mega Man series. It's a lot of fun to do those. I have a few new ones that I'm going to post next week. You can also find me on Facebook, KC The Most, like my page. You can find me on Twitter at MostKC, where you can let me know what you think of my content. I just put some of my episodes on SoundCloud. So there's many different ways to listen to my stuff. I'm also on Tumblr too, so you can find me there. Like, comment, and subscribe. I appreciate you guys listening to my stuff. I enjoy making these videos for you guys. I'll check you out later. Peace.